Big ones, little ones, fiddly ones, powerful ones, the ones for the car or the truck, caravan, boat, mobility scooter, solar system. In fact, for any kind of battery, go straight to Battery Central Ipswich. They'll even help you when you know what you need to power, but have no idea what'll do the job. Battery Central Ipswich, 280 Brisbane Street, West Ipswich, behind the Yellow Building. Expert advice, better batteries, best prices, every day. That's Battery Central Ipswich.
Aussie Tech Heads is brought to you by startnewcompany.com.au. Register your company fast, easy and direct with ASIC. All documentation is provided and held in your account for downloading at any time. Special discount for ATH listeners. At the cart, use ATH20 for a $20 discount. And athwebhosting.com.au. Servers operate on SSD drives. Immediate activation, SSL certificates, Aussie support, domain registration, and easy install of WordPress, Joomla, and Drupal. Welcome to episode 728 of the Aussie Tech Heads. I'm Jason Oakley, and this is Will Tompkinson. Hey, Will.
Hey, mate.
What's up? What's up?
Not the temperature, that's for sure, for once.
It's down. And you know how I know? Because I got this new freaking icon on my taskbar that says 8 degrees light rain, which I didn't put there, but apparently the latest Windows update lovingly puts there for nobody who wanted it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's done a few things. And same on the work computer. This morning, why is all this stuff? Who's been playing on the... Oh, Microsoft. Okay.
Microsoft been playing on the thing. And you click on it and it's got the news items and stuff appear from the taskbar, and if I click on the Windows button up the top, it says suggested. Know about New Zealand? Test your knowledge here. Why is that in an operating system?
Yes.
Why? What?
I don't know. It's bad enough in on the Android phones. If you scroll back a screen too far, it pops up.
Oh, I hate that.
You can disable it at least, but yeah, it's like, why does that need to be there? I don't.
It's bloody ridiculous, mate.
Has everybody ever gone? Oh, that's interesting. I'm glad that feature's there.
Let me read more news. Whoop-de-doo.
Oh, man.
I finally got 18650 so I can use my new vape, Geek Vape Aegis X.
The flashy one with the pretty lights.
Sub-ohm one. It's got a 4-inch... not 2-inch by 4-inch LCD screen, and does big clouds.
Big clouds. That's what it's about, after all, isn't it?
Yeah. Everything's about the big clouds. I got barley, what is it called? Barley Blitz or something in there. Tastes like melon.
It used to be all about the Pentiums. Now it's all about the big clouds.
Yeah.
Can't weird out.
It's not about the Bitcoins, is it? Nothing is anymore.
Well, I don't know.
Might come back up.
There's some news about that later.
Oh, sweet. Barley Breeze. I just remembered.
Barley Breeze.
Yeah. I got mine from the vapeshop.com.au. I had 5 that I ordered with let's compare them. That's the little mouth to lung one that I had, and that's the new direct to lung one. And doesn't it weigh a lot more? It's a solid one.
If you're going to be going out and you just want to chuck something in your pocket,
they'll just slip down the side and you can do that.
You want to know which one you want.
Use the big one for the big clouds. Been trying to learn tricks and stuff too. How you pucker your lips and then tap on the side and you blow smoke. O-rings come out and stuff like this. A lot of fun.
It's a hard life you lead.
Right? And I bought it with the Bitcoin I mined with my computer. So it didn't cost me anything technically.
Well, that's it. But yeah, no, it's definitely getting cold. We got down to -3 last night, and it's supposed to be colder again tonight. And
geez, we got 4, I think was probably the lowest.
Well, there was 3 in Ipswich, and we're always lower than them. I think I went at 4 o'clock this morning or something. I think I saw 0, which would mean that when the sun was coming up at like 5:30, it would have had to dip into the minuses. So
What are you doing awake at 4 o'clock in the morning?
nothing constructive.
Just in the last week, I think it's been. I'd wake like two times each night again now, even though I've got these wonderful sleeping tablets that seem to knock me out for some reason. I'm started again, waking up once or twice through the night, and I don't know. At least most of the time I get back to sleep. Although the day before yesterday, I woke up at 6 a.m., went out and got some breakfast. My daughter's like, "What are you doing up at this time of morning?" It's like she's like, "I'm going to bed in about 4 hours, but you're not usually up at 6." That's like midday for her or something. I don't know. Kids.
What's your American time?
Yeah.
So.
So we got some scrollies going on.
Oh.
What's
Sorry.
that all
My
about?
kombucha's come back to haunt me. Oh, seriously? Oh, that'll teach me to drink healthy stuff, won't it?
Yep.
Oh, man. But, sorry, I'll try to not die on live TV. Yeah, so you can look us up in a few different places. Patreon.com/Aussie TechHead, for example. You can find us there if you wish to participate in the coolness that is that. Or you can go coffee.com, which is ko-fi.com/Aussie TechHeads.
You can only say that because you read it.
All the usual stuff that's there, Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and all those fun things you can find us. But yeah, no, we do appreciate the donations we're getting through Patreon, and we got a couple through PayPal and a couple other various places, and
we might
help,
be going to give out some NFTs if anyone's interested.
Yeah, if there's anyone listening who knows what NFTs are and you are interested in getting limited release
stuff,
give us a hoy, because we're kind of trying to figure out how many we should release. Now, they do cost us money to do it. Not a lot, but they do cost us money to do it.
It'll be on the Engine network, so you need an Engine and wallet.
You need to have an Engine wallet, and you need to know what an NFT is and what to do with it and how to use it, because we're not going to explain to every person who buys one what you're supposed to do with it. So, but if you are keen on it, give us a hoy, and we'll do some sort of limited run in the next couple of weeks.
Have you got a picture there?
No.
Here's one I prepared earlier.
Yeah, had you have given me like.
Where's my Discord? No, I just thought of it up on the spot, didn't I? Throw you to the sharks there, sir.
I usually do.
It's
not that unusual. But yeah, that's. Let's see if I can quickly find it and kill some more airtime. I don't know, where is it? Yeah, there we go. See if that's now. The next question is this going to load? We've actually been having this issue with Discord. Where I can't load attachments, and I don't know if it's just a me thing. Or
at least the internet's working.
Yeah, well,
we all had a problem with that the last couple of days.
Yeah.
There we go.
Except that background would be
gold,
but because you're chroma keyed, it's not going to work properly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. There's a weird Discord updated a couple of days ago, and it's kind of, I don't know.
Discord updated went crazy. Windows updated went crazy. I'm picking up a trend here somewhere. It must be contagious.
Minecraft updated, and it's not. Well, I play a lot of on a lot of servers, and you got to be careful you don't upgrade before the server does, because then it doesn't work. And everything's updated recently. I had what else updated? Oh, Notepad++, but it always updates. It has like 14 updates a day.
Same as FileZilla.
Yeah, FileZilla. HitFilm Express updated the other day. Thunderbird updated. Firefox updated the other day.
Yeah, Firefox got a new interface.
Kind of streamlining it a bit to look a bit more like Thunderbird, so they're kind of being a bit more cross-compatible now.
The flat minimalistic icons.
Which, I mean, I generally have on mine set to night mode anyway, so
yes,
it works.
Same.
It works well in night mode. Actually, it works quite well.
I even got a extension that you can switch the whole screen on whatever web page you're on to night mode, even if it doesn't support it itself.
Well, yeah, as a lot of more are supporting it as default now, like Facebook, YouTube, Gmail. A lot of the regular sites I visit support it by default.
But one of the guys I found out this week, one of the guys on our work team uses his terminal with a white background. I mean, is this guy sick in the head or I don't understand?
I used to use white background and green text.
I can't do that. It's got to be dark.
And then I went to black background with orange text.
Yeah.
And then I discovered black background with green text.
Yeah.
And then I went that way. But yeah, no, originally I had white background on mine.
Not these days.
It's what you get used to. But you got to remember too, when I start, the first monitor I was editing on was this big.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
You need
he's got two 1080p's with bright white light coming at him, and one of the other guys has written this new cool funky script that does some cool funky stuff and draws graphs and stuff. And this guy was saying the graphs don't come up on mine properly. It's like, why is that? And they eventually found out that he's the only one that's got a white screen. So when you're drawing white lines on the graph on a white background, it wasn't showing up, but it didn't make sense because no one in their right mind codes or does a terminal SSH connection with a white background.
Yeah.
So they had to add an option into the script so that you can customize the colors that the graphs and everything are in. I'm like, just seems unnecessary. Just tell him to use dark mode like everyone else.
What's interesting too on the Xiaomi, I don't know if the Samsung has it. On the Xiaomi, it has a dark mode, in the settings of the app of Android of the system.
Yeah.
And it forces most of the apps into dark mode, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, a lot of them now, like Twitter and that, come with the option dark, light, or system default.
Yeah.
And so if you just put it on, they'll all automatically go to system default unless you specify otherwise, so you can customize across the app.
There is a couple of times where dark mode doesn't work well.
Properly.
I mean, it physically works okay, but it doesn't integrate correctly with what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
So occasionally I turn it off, but yeah, usually I just use it all the time. So.
Alrighty, should we get into some news?
Yes, we shall.
PayPal has introduced a new feature enabling transfers from PayPal balance to domestic bank accounts and Visa debit cards within 1 minute. The feature uses the new payment platform, NPP, through PayPal's partnership with the National Australia Bank and Visa's real-time payments platform, Visa Direct. Is available for transfers for as low as $2, with maximum transfers dependent on individual consumer history. Through Visa Direct, the feature also allows users to send domestic instant transfers to eligible Visa debit cards. Customers can opt out of the feature as a 1% fee applies when transferring between accounts and is capped at $10. The feature also available to small businesses with maximum transfers based on trading history on the PayPal platform. General Manager of Payments, PayPal Australia, Andrew Toon, said the company is excited to leverage the speed of NPP through our Australian banking partner NAB, and is also to continue to expand our partnership with Visa to help more customers get faster access to their funds. According to PayPal Australia, it's the largest commercial customer to leverage the NPP via NAB.
So
that's pretty cool.
So as long as you're not using a MasterCard, you'll be fine.
Yeah. I love having OSCO /NPP /PayID / why don't they just
pick one
unify a name?
It's so frustrating.
But you can send already on banks, you can send money from one person's bank account to another almost instantly these days, which is fantastic. Unless it's from a business, in which case it takes 5 to 10 working days.
We have a business account and we have access to it.
Yeah, no, but still, you try and get money from a business, and you still get that. This refund can take 5 to 10 days.
The thing with the OSCO thing is we will send it to you straight away.
Mm-hmm.
Right, physically leaves our account instantly. It's up to your bank whether they want to accept it or not.
Yeah,
and that's
and they might take 5 to 10 days.
Yeah,
so you have to cover yourself by saying it might take longer.
But it's not us that does it. We release the money straight away. It's your bank that hangs on to it, or sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
And profit.
But they get the interest on, on that couple of days they're holding on to it, they get to earn interest on it. So,
why would you get it sooner?
Yeah, exactly. Why make your life easy when they can make money from it?
Yeah, it's in their interest to get more interest.
It is. But yeah, it's you know, it's changing the way that direct deposits are becoming sort of more used now because, you know, especially if you walk into a shop to buy something, you couldn't just say, "Oh, just direct deposit, and in 5 days' time, I promise the money will be there." You know.
Yeah.
Okay, you could send them a remittance, but you still had a couple of days where you could go and cancel a transaction.
Yeah.
But now with this, it's great. You can do it instantly, and you get a confirmation through straight away, and it can't be reversed. So it's like, yep, cool, done.
Yeah.
You know, so it works well for like us with a small business where we can accept payments on the spot that are too big for it, because you obviously have, most people only have $1,000 or $2,000 limit on their card.
Yeah.
So if they've come in to buy a solar system and it's a $10,000 solar system, well, they can just now do direct deposit in the store and walk out with the product.
I had to ring up my bank to transfer the money for me because I couldn't do it. Well, my bank is in Wollongong, and that's about it. So I couldn't exactly drive down there. It would take like 6 or 7 hours to get there and do a transfer. But I can't do it from internet banking because the largest you can transfer is 5,000, which is, of course, for security reasons.
Yeah.
Even if you ring up. So I just ring up and say, I need this much money to go to this via direct deposit. And they're like, yep, we've done that for you.
It's one thing I love about having the business account. You don't have to worry about that. I have to admit, that's good. So, but yeah, no, I think it's interesting to see how much PayPal takes out for that privilege, because they already take enough out to give you your money back.
Yeah, well, they said this would be a 1% fee.
Yeah, but is that flat fee, or is that on top of the fee they've already charged you to transfer the money in the first place?
Why not both?
Tax on a tax.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. But speaking of money, El Salvador, you know, that place that always is on the forefront of the cutting edge of technology.
Yep. As always.
President Niab Bukele.
You always pick these ones, don't you?
Yeah, I know. The president of El Salvador has now mandated Bitcoin to be treated the same as US dollars.
Yes!
It's become the first country to adopt Bitcoin in legal tender. The president wants to take one step further with a plan to create 100% renewable cryptocurrency mining facilities using volcanoes.
Oh.
There's probably more to that story, but they don't elaborate on it here.
I mean, the dwarves used to do mining in volcanoes to forge the swords and shields, didn't they?
There's some ring come out of volcano.
I saw that on Thor.
With the bill's passage, Bitcoin will be instantly converted with USD and have the same legal standings. Prices can now be displayed in Bitcoin. Merchants must accept payment in Bitcoin. Tax contributions can be paid in Bitcoin. And Bitcoin exchanges will no longer be subject to the country's capital gains tax. The state's under the obligation to promote and protect private enterprise, generating necessary conditions to increase national wealth for the benefit of the greatest number of inhabitants, the bill reads. Approximately 70% of the population does not have access to traditional financial services. It's the obligation of the state to facilitate the financial inclusion of its citizens in order to better guarantee their rights. The purpose of this law is to regulate Bitcoin as unrestricted legal tender with liberating power, unlimited in any transaction, and any title that public or private, natural or legal persons require carrying out. They expect the introduction of Bitcoin to generate growth across the economy. Following its success with Congress, the president announced his plans for clean, renewable, and zero emissions facilities to mine the cryptocurrency. I just instructed the president of our state-owned geothermal electric company to put up a plan to offer facilities for Bitcoin mining with very cheap, 100% clean, 100% renewable, zero emissions energy from our volcanoes. This is going to evolve fast, he tweeted. Our engineers just informed me they dug a new well that will provide approximately 95 megawatts of 100% clean, zero emissions geothermal energy from our volcano, starting to design full Bitcoin mining hub around it, said in another tweet. So not only have they fully embraced Bitcoin as legal tender, the government of the country is setting up a Bitcoin mining facility.
Nice. And in the US and Australia, they're like, how can we tax Bitcoin? How can we make it illegal as possible? Track every fraction of Bitcoin that goes anywhere and then tax the hell out of everybody for using it.
Yeah. Well, you had that story there, didn't you? About, or did you end up doing that one? About how they want to, was that they wanted to track all the movements of the coins through the country?
Yes, in the US.
Yeah, it's like, seriously.
But Australia's doing stuff. Like a friend of mine got a message from the ATO through his MyGov thing saying, "We know you got crypto, so you got to tell us everything about it."
No, you don't. It's not in the country. That's not nothing to do with them.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but yeah, so good on them, El Salvador. You know, as I said, like it's not exactly known to be forefront of technology and cutting edge. You know, but they're
Actually,
cert-
thinking about it, you only pay tax on things that increase in value, right?
otherwise they become a asset write off if they decrease.
That was a perfect time for Bitcoin to drop out of the bottom of the market.
Yeah, well, especially if you're a business and you
Nobody
own
has
shares.
made money on it,
No,
so
and if you have a business and you have them in shares and they've collapsed, then you can claim them as a loss.
yeah,
So you can actually get money from losing money.
yeah. Kind of like negative gearing works.
Yeah. So, but no, it'd be great.
Bravo.
I'm going to keep an eye on this and see over the next few, because I reckon it's going to be like 3 months and they'll have their first mining operation in place. So,
Yep.
it's going to be interesting to
Make
see.
Bitcoin legal tender and make weed legal.
Yeah, well, that's it. Then people won't care if they get taxed.
Yeah. What? Okay. Give me a packet of Cheetos. You can text me whatever you like. I don't care. Doritos. I need Doritos. With melted cheese in the micro. Don't start now. I'm going to get hungry. An internet blackout that knocked out some of the world's biggest websites on Tuesday. Oh,
Doritos,
man.
nacho cheese.
Doritos. Was ultimately caused by a single customer updating their settings. Isn't that wonderful?
Sounds about
The infrastructure provider Fastly has revealed a bug in Fastly's code introduced in mid-May had lain dormant until Tuesday morning, according to Nick Rockwell, the company's head of engineering and infrastructure. When the unnamed customer updated their settings, it triggered the flaw, which ultimately took down 85% of the company's network. On May 12, we began a software deployment that introduced a bug that could be triggered by a specific customer configuration under specific circumstances. Early June 8th, the customer pushed valid configuration change that included the specific circumstances that triggered that bug, which caused 85% of the network to return errors. We detected the disruption within 1 minute, then identified and isolated the cause and disabled the configuration. Within 49 minutes, 95% of our network was operating normal. I wonder who got fired for that.
Oh man, tell you what. Talk about a oversight.
It was like this. I sent the cartoon to you the other day, and it's like when the internet's being created, let's make it distributed so it could just survive a nuclear winter. And then today they're like, what if we put half the internet in one company's hands?
And the other half in another company. Yeah. Oh, that is the problem with it. Like, and this is part of the problem with things like Facebook and
CDN.
And yeah, they are solely responsible for everything that occurs. So if there is an issue, nothing happens.
Yeah.
Whereas sites like Mind, which I use a lot, Minds.com, it's a P2P site. So all data is stored across all the users. And you can lose something like 90% of the user base and the site still functions.
Yeah.
You know, so it's
kind of like a widely distributed RAID.
Yeah. It's
Rockwell added, even though there were specific conditions that triggered this outage, we should have anticipated it. We provide mission critical services and we treat any action that can cause service issues with the utmost sensitivity and priority. We apologize to our customers and those who rely on them for the outage and sincerely thank the community for its support. The content delivery network, CDN, operated by Fastly, is one of the largest on the internet, along with similar networks operated by Akamai, Cloudflare, and Amazon's CloudFront. All operate on the same principle that the internet is faster and more stable if users can connect to servers physically close to them, optimized for handling lots of traffic. In typical times, doing so not only cuts loading times, but also allows the CDN operators with expertise in running internet infrastructure to take on the burden of handling security threats, unexpected traffic spikes, and high bandwidth bills. But the outage highlighted the risks associated with a concentrated of crucial internet infrastructure in the hands of just a few companies.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole I mean, I don't know.
The idea is good, but it can fail down. It's good in theory. A lot of things are good in theory, but in practice,
I mean, when you have the creator of the internet saying the internet's broken and we need to fix it, let's redesign it.
Yep.
Something's gone wrong.
And he would know.
Yep. If you ever listen to Neil Stephenson's Diamond Age, they actually talk about this being a problem.
Oh, all right.
The Diamond Age occurs after the internet basically imploded and they redesigned a technology information distribution network. They call it the feed, but it's basically the internet 2.0. It's like the internet failed after so many years it no longer was able to function, so they redeveloped it into this other sort of technology. And I can see it in the next few years. It is going to have to inherently change the way it's being run because it's becoming its own.
Too many single points of failure, isn't there?
Yeah, it really is. Even early internet was more robust than it is now.
It says a lot.
So, I don't know. But speaking of internet, Google is boosting low latency access with deep sea cables from the US to South America.
Oh.
A new deep sea cable project stretched from east coast of US to 3 South American countries in effort to boost the capacity of the internet, but mainly to provide low latency access. The project, named Firminia, after a widely known Brazilian abolitionist and author. I could say abolitionist, but I couldn't say author. Wow. Will span hundreds of kilometres and will be the longest cable in the world, capable of running entirely from a single power source at one end if needed. Google CEO wrote on Twitter that the goal of the project is to improve access to Google services in South America like Gmail, Google Services, YouTube, and Google Cloud. So how they're putting in new 12 pairs of cable, blah, blah, blah. But not only that, it's also by default, by the fact that it's going to primarily be used for Google services, by default it's going to enable a lot of other. So anything that basically uses the Google network will be on the new cable. So anybody who's got their DNS set to, what is it, 8.8.8.8 or whatever it is. Yeah, you'll be using that.
Yep.
And yeah, the primary reason for doing it, the secondary reason is that we'll carry more traffic. The primary reason is to reduce ping times.
Nice.
That's
Gamers are like, yeah, my Fortnite will be screaming now.
And Google currently has 16 undersea cables across the world.
Under the sea.
Starting in 2019, they finished the Curler cable, which was the first between West Coast of the US and South America. So they're not messing around. They've been between that and the dark fiber. They've been putting back into service.
They're helping a lot of the internet that needs it.
They're not mucking around, which ultimately is only for their benefit, but still
helps us too.
Well, not really. We need more cables because our cable's maxed out.
Yeah.
Well and truly, it's been maxed out for 10 years.
Well, you like to hear a funny story? Kind of funny in a way. The FBI and Australian Federal Police ran an encrypted chat platform and intercepted secret messages between criminal gang members from all over the world for more than 3 years. Named Operation Ironside by the AFP and Trojan Shield by FBI and Interpol, on Monday, law enforcement agencies from Australia, Europe, and the US conducted house searches and arrested thousands of suspects across a wide spectrum of criminal groups, from biker gangs in Australia to drug cartels across Asia and South America, and weapons and human traffickers in Europe. In a press conference The Australian police said the sting operation got underway in 2018 after the FBI successfully seized encrypted chat platform Phantom Secure. Knowing that the criminal underworld would move to a new platform, US and Australian officials decided to run their own service on top of ANOM, an encrypted chat platform the FBI had secretly gained access to through an insider. Just like Phantom Secure, new service consisted of secure smartphones that were configured to run only the ANOM app and nothing else. The app, advertised through word of mouth via the anom.io website, allowed phone owners to send encrypted text and voice messages between their devices and prevented them from running other services or installing other apps that would leak their identities. Because the servers were leaking their identities, so they didn't need it. All data on the device was encrypted and no phone number was required to use the app, which relayed all its messages via ANOM's central platform. But according to investigators and court documents filed on Monday, the ANOM insider provided access to the FBI, which was able to set up a man-in-the-middle scheme that allowed it to receive copies of all messages sent through the platform since October 2018. Per the court documents, all ANOM devices located outside the US were configured to send a blind carbon copy of all the messages to a third-party XMPP bot, which the FBI has called iBot. I wonder if Apple will get stuck in on for that.
Now, yeah.
Here, the bot would decrypt the messages and then re-encrypt them using encryption keys managed by the FBI. The design allowed the FBI to intercept the messages and decrypt text sent by gang members to each other, many of which included details of drug movements or murder plots. Womp womp.
The problem is I'll never be able to do it again now.
No,
because
they'll have other ways. They got their feelers into Facebook and all the other supposedly secure messaging platforms and stuff.
You can imagine who they're going to find out who that insider is.
He's not going to live.
He's not going to be around for much longer at all. Would not like to be that
dude.
That person, I tell you. So yes, what else have we got here? The sticking with the internet for one more story, because
why not? We're on it.
I should say too, you see the BCI banner pop up there, Battery Central Ipswich. Yeah.
Who's that?
I own that now.
Woo!
That is now a me thing. And then at the start of the show, if there are any ATH viewers who need batteries for pretty much anything, look us up. We're in Ipswich, in Queensland. We service that area for automotive stuff because you can't ship that, but we do ship nationally for most other stuff. So if you want to find something out, give us a call. Solar and batteries and off-grid and all that
one
sort
for
of
your
stuff.
NBN.
So yeah, pretty much any of that sort of stuff we do. And for ATH listeners, it'll be, depending on the product, between a 10 and 25% discount. So
mad cool.
Give us a call and...
but do you have 18650s?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I never knew what they were until about a week ago when I needed it for my geek vape.
Oh dear. So lose the use of Apple's iCloud and you lose more than just storage. Apple's ID is so deeply woven into its Apple software internals that an iCloud issue can render inoperable a whole suite of services of macOS and iOS that runs an Apple ID linked to cloud. So this is basically the whole Microsoft thing all over again, but by Apple. iCloud account from Apple was inoperable for 5 days, had the effect of making Apple's iCloud storage unusable. The review of iCloud storage options and many readers offered thoughts about alternatives in the comments. The original article, those included things such as using local storage devices and not using any kind of cloud storage at all. All these worthwhile considerations must be placed in the context. So basically saying that, yeah, they had... Are
you saying you use your NAS for backing up the phones?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea instead of using iCloud and all that sort of stuff.
And it does it automatically. Once you come back onto the Wi-Fi, it automatically just does it in the background. You don't even need to worry about it. But there's so many backup options now that are automatic, that will sync to either a home computer or... I don't use the Samsung Cloud. I use Google Docs mostly for work.
I used the Samsung Cloud, but they're shutting it down and making you move to OneDrive now.
Yeah. See, I don't use OneDrive. I don't use Google Docs, but other than using those for work documents and stuff, or sharing with somebody where you can't send it through any other way. But I don't generally use those in my day-to-day. 99% of my stuff is backed up locally, and then that's backed up onto the NAS. But then there are applications that you can do that on your phone, whether you back it up physically by plugging a cable in, or whether you do it over Wi-Fi while you're sleeping, just backing it up to your desktop. It's going to be better than nothing. Or even if you can... There's lots of different ways of doing it, but don't rely
I've got
on
Dropbox and OneDrive.
Don't rely on the integration of, in this case, Apple ID, because it went down and they couldn't access the music, books, Apple Pay, any of their online data, any of their documents, because it's all tied in through their ID.
Another single point of failure. Well done, Apple.
Yeah.
They didn't want to miss out, right?
Exactly.
You can't give Microsoft all the glory.
Everybody else is doing it, so, But it also meant that things like, there's a feature, I don't know much about it, but apparently there's a feature called handoff or something. And if you've got an iPad, you can send it to your iPhone or something like that.
I had weird stuff happening with work. See, now I've got my MacBook Air next to me and my work MacBook Pro. What would happen with handoff was I'd copy some text into the clipboard on here, and when I hit paste on my work computer, it would paste the text that I copied from the other computer.
Yeah.
But for work stuff, I have something else that I wanted to paste from the clipboard in there, and I'm like, how did that... Why is that over here? This is a different computer. How does it have the access? So I had to look up, and I'm like, oh, handoff, disable.
So apparently that was broken. Apparently even things like he's saying that he couldn't log into his devices because they logged in with his thing, and like he could use his laptop, but they couldn't log in and do anything that required a login, like emails or anything like that. But he could use it to like surf the net. That's about all he could do. He couldn't even log into his iPad at all to even activate his iPad. So yeah. So apparently the Apple ID thing is tightly wound into a lot of stuff, more than
too much,
more than is just more than is noticeable to start with. So more price spikes, Amber Elec. So, but yeah. So if you've got an Apple ID, you might want to just look into having a plan B in terms of an offline, whether it's an independent system, or whether but you got to have some way of still doing your work when Apple ID goes down.
Yeah, stick it on a Dropbox or something.
Yeah, and have a PC.
Mr. T might be able to bring up a picture for the next one while I'm reading it.
I'll make no
On
promises.
Tuesday, Playdate, the portable 1-bit gaming system with an analog crank as a primary control option, took one more step toward being a bona fide thing you can buy. The diminutive portable systems creators at Panic, publishers of games like Firewatch and the Untitled Goose Game, hosted their first ever Playdate update video today and confirmed that the hardware will launch to paying customers later this year, with pre-orders beginning in July starting at $179. The price will include the system's complete first season of Playdate exclusive games, and Panic had originally pledged to include 12 games in all with the purchase price. Today's presentation included a welcome surprise, double the included games. Now Playdate owners can expect to get 2 games a week as free downloads over a span of 12 weeks, which means 24 games in all. Panic remains committed to its plan to surprise system owners with free downloads of entirely new games, so the video didn't include lengthy game reveals. In the meantime, they've been given 21 of the Season 1 games titles, along with a list of participating developers. The indie-heavy developer list includes Kaita Takahashi, who wrote Katamari Damacy, Nels Anderson for Firewatch, Giles Goddard, 1080 Snowboarding, Bennett Foddy, Getting Over It, and Zach Gage, Spell Tower, along with tons of lesser-known devs whose work has impressed them over the years. And if you'd like to join the Playdate development fray, Panic will make that easy for you with Pulp, a Playdate dev kit that works entirely via your browser. Panic said that this tool set, which include tools for coding, graphics, and music, will go live for free at an undetermined date. Some of the games include Kraken's Time Travel Adventure, Battleship Gaudios, Boogie Loops, Casual Birder, Demon Quest 85, Echoic Memory, Executive Golf DX, Flipper Lifter, Forest Burns, Up in Smoke, Hyper Meteor, Lost Your Marbles, Omaze, Pick Pack Pop, Questy Chess, Ratcheteer, Sasquatches, Snack, Spellcorked, Zipper, Saturday Edition, and Whitewater Wipeout.
It really looks like a very early Mac Classic inspired display.
Yeah.
It even has the same sort of icons and the same dot matrix. So it's a dot matrix instead of a LCD, I'm assuming. Well, it's probably an
Seems
LCD,
like
but emulated to look
emulating
like
that, yeah. And it's got a crank on the side that's a game controller. It's not for winding up to charge the battery or anything. There's a time game where you go forward and backwards in time by cranking it on the right hand side to move forward and back in time in the games to complete things.
So, yeah, it's an interesting concept.
Yeah, and you sign up and you get now two new games every week just suddenly appear on there through the Wi-Fi. That's pretty cool.
And then there's I was saying before, there's this whole holder thing that comes with it as well.
Right.
You get this this whole case thing that comes with it, and
nice.
it's a pen holder, and it's like basically like, see that the display there reminds me so much of a Mac Classic.
Mm.
So, and yeah, you can put a pen in it and use it for a bedside alarm. Oh no, it is an OLED screen. It's just emulating a dot matrix.
Oh, right.
And yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
So, have they said anything on pricing?
Yeah, it was $179.
Was that AU or US?
US.
US, so $250.
Yep. So you get 24 games to start off.
I mean,
that's the first season. Then you pay for the next season, and every week you get another couple of games just randomly appear on there for the next season.
Yeah, I'm going to go and have a look at the developer site later because it looks like you can play the games on the developer site.
Oh, wow.
So,
I wouldn't mind making a game or two for it if it's not too complicated like that using a web browser.
Yeah, stereo dock. This charges your play date, looks great on your desk, has stereo Bluetooth speakers, and it's a pen holder. It's all in the thing. And it comes with a cover, which is a magnetic cover. Here we go. It's 14 days standby as a clock and 8 hours active. 180 megahertz Cortex M7 SDK, supporting Lua and C. 16 mega RAM, 32K level 1 cache, 4 gig flash. Has O2 BGN wireless, built-in mono speaker, stereo headphone jack with a condenser mic. 400 by 240. Okay, maybe it is. It's 400 by 240 1-bit display.
Yeah.
So it is a matrix display then, a dot matrix display. D-pad, A and B, sleep menu, 3-axis accelerometer, and a crank handle. So interesting.
Could be a fun little thing. Just in time for Christmas.
It's different. This is what we're talking about the other day when they were screwing up the whole retro vibe of stuff. But this is different enough, to be retro nostalgic. But it's unique enough that it's its own device that doesn't have any predetermined.
Yeah, it's
concepts.
like a niche product.
Yeah,
can work well.
So I like something like that because you don't have any expectations because there's nothing you can relate to what it is. But at the same time, it's also kind of really familiar.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
Yeah, I might have to look into that. Speaking of that,
one for Cam for Christmas.
I'll get one for me for Cam for Christmas. Yeah. Speaking of this, they're not going to be able to make them if they can't get any chips. So luckily, the U.S. Senate just agreed $52 billion to boost U.S. chip making. While the shortage of chip continues to expand, the U.S. Senate has passed a landmark bill that will unlock an eye-watering $52 billion to boost national production of semiconductors. As part of a wider package, covers scientific endeavours ranging from artificial intelligence to quantum communications. Expanding US semiconductor industry in particular is one of the key producers. The new act follows from a previous pledge called $50 billion in semiconductor manufacturing and research to support the aptly named CHIPS Act, creating helpful incentives to produce semiconductors.
Ah, Chippy!
So basically,
Joe Biden's a gobbledygook.
yeah, pretty much. With the Senate greenlighting the bill, the funding is effectively one step closer to becoming reality. It's now heading to the House of Representatives, where it'll be debated there. Then it's saying down here that currently chip manufacturing is largely centralized in regions outside of the US, specifically semiconductor foundries, which print silicon wafers that contain nanometer scale integrated circuits, predominantly based in Southeast Asia. This is because instead of going through the complex process of manufacturing semiconductors for their products in-house, most companies have the past years since outsourced their job to leading companies, Samsung and TSMC. As a result, about 3/4 of the world's semiconductor manufacturing capacity comes from China, Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan. At the same time,
And America don't like China no more. They just put in a new rule that you're not allowed to invest in like 59 Chinese companies anymore.
At the same time, manufacturing capacity in the US has significantly declined, according to a recent report carried by the Semiconductor Industry Association, because of course they do. The US held 37% of global chip manufacturing in 1990. The number has gone down to 12% today, mostly due to the stagnation of government subsidies.
Mostly due to them offshoring it because it's cheaper to do it with cheaper labor in another company that doesn't have very good labor laws.
Pretty much. But yeah, so hopefully there'll be chips available again soon. But the thing is, okay, it's kind of a... Look, $52 billion to rescue an industry that doesn't have a way of rescuing itself. Like, it doesn't have foundries, it doesn't have factories, it doesn't have all that stuff it needs to do this.
And it couldn't scale up. There's going to be years down the track.
Yeah, $50 billion is nothing. That's one company going, like, oh yeah, we can use that. We'll just have to think about it for a while and figure out exactly how we're going to do it. And,
while we gain interest.
So it's... It might help, but it's not going to help tomorrow.
The intentions are good.
Yeah.
That's about it.
It's going to be a good couple of years before it even sees a lot of day, before factories even have,
Before they start chopping down the forest to concrete it.
The funny thing is, the thing that annoys me is to make silicon chips, there's a particular sort of sand that's needed to do it. Like, 3/4 of our desert apparently is made up of this exact sort of sand that we need, but we've got no manufacturing facilities here. It's like we have the stuff we need to make it in our backyard, but don't make anything.
Yep.
It's so dumb. But
that's
yeah,
our government for you.
Yes.
Boxered them where they come from.
Pretty much.
That's it for your stories?
I think it's worth looking at, yeah.
Yeah, thanks for listening to the Aussie Tech Head Show. We can be found at Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Patreon, and coffee.com/Aussie Tech Heads. Email us Will or Warlock at aussietechheads.com.au and go to aussietechradio.com, 24/7 back-to-back play of tech-related shows from Australia and New Zealand. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Don't forget, look us up Battery Central Ipswich and we'll help you out. See ya.